Who is the worst traitor in human history? 1. Corfitz Ulfeldt is not well known outside of Scandinavia, but very bad. In a quick recap, he was in a top position under the Danish king in the mid-1600s, but did a bunch of corrupt stuff, allegedly, and fled to Sweden, who had been the mortal enemies of Denmark for hundreds of years. Here he started working for the Swedish king and didn't just tell him every Danish secret he knew, but deliberate did everything he could to enrage the Swedes against the Danes so they would declare them war. After a few years, he succeeded, and he didn't just help the Swedish troops from the front lines, he also let the Swedish king borrow insane amounts of money from him that he had stolen from the Danish treasury, money that was then used to buy mercenaries for the invasion. The Swedes won, and Ulfeldt got his own lands back and even a Danish island for his troubles. But it wasn't long before the Swedish king also started being annoyed with Ulfeldt, who now fled back to Denmark where he was arrested. For some insane reason, he was eventually allowed to leave the country because he said he needed to go to a spa for his health. Of course, he didn't go to a spa and fled Denmark once again. This time he went to a bunch of different kings in Europe and tried to get them in on his crazy schemes, essentially. He also gave the skull of one of the biggest Danish saints to the French, another thing he had stolen. He even tried to arrange a coup of the Danish throne, but without luck. The Danes never got him again, but his wife was famously imprisoned in a tower for 22 years, essentially in her husband's place. Ulfeldt was so hated in Denmark that a statue of shame was erected for him that people were supposed to spit on as they walked past. It stood in Copenhagen for hundreds of years. 2. Campbells at Glencoe were pretty despicable. Edit for reference. The Glencoe Massacre, 1692, was a brutal episode in Scottish history where government soldiers, many from Clan Campbell under orders from King William III, killed 38 members of Clan MacDonald of Glencoe. The MacDonalds had delayed swearing allegiance to the king after the Glorious Revolution, and this was used as a pretext for punishment. The most infamous part was that the Campbell soldiers had been living as guests among the MacDonalds for nearly 2 weeks, sharing food and shelter, before turning on them in the early morning hours. It wasn't just a massacre, it was a betrayal, seen as a chilling example of state-sanctioned violence and clan politics. The event left a lasting scar and symbolized the deep mistrust between Highland clans and the central government. 3. I might be biased, but Pol Pot. He turned on his own country and brought upon the slaughter of millions of innocent men, women, and children. They say he preferred to use hammers on his victims to conserve ammunition. 4. Whoever invented the skip ad button but made it appear after you've already watched the full ad.